looking for her very own sunshine. All alone in her faith, many roads to travel time, but she don't mind. A lost child on the edge of tomorrow's pain. A lost child, turn her sunshine into rain.
See, kind of that tone is kind of like, you kind of shake your head and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, here. But today, here on the RUSS MEEK Speak Show, here with a honored guest to talk about some issues that we have here in the Chicagoland area, roughly in the area of about $3.9 billion that he didn't bring the money with him today, but we're going to be talking about what's going to happen and how those dollars might impact you and how your organization might be able to get involved with what's happening. So why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Sure, thank you for having me on. My name is Juan Pablo Prieto. I serve as the Director of Diversity Programs at the Chicago Transit Authority.
Okay, that's a CTA.
Yes,
God, it's like right now we have this big expansion project for the Red Line.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we're very, very excited about extending the Red Line out to 130th and fulfilling, a promise that was made almost 60 years ago, and making sure that we expand transit to the furthest reaches of the city.
Why did it take so long?
Yeah, it's, a combination of funding and political will, right? And the moment was right. The community had been asking for it for a long time, had been advocating for it, and making sure that it stayed at the forefront of every development plan, of every plan that was put out for the CTA. But the timing was right to pursue this project. And we're ready to get started here in 2025. Towards the end of the year at 2025, we'll put the shovels in the ground and complete it by the end of 2029.
Okay, so let me go back. We're talking about $3.9 billion that's going to be allocated right now for this expansion project of the Red Line. Right now, taking it from 95th roughly up to 140th. And why do we want this expansion to take place? Is it some need, saying we have more people on 104th and need to get into the city, or what's going on?
It's really an equity. It's an equity investment, right? And making sure that the community, all of Chicago, can access transit. Transit is a great equalizer.
Okay.
It makes sure that you can get to not just your job, your doctor's office, groceries, recreation, entertainment. We want to make, we're the backbone of the city in making sure that we move people. And we want to make sure that all communities are able to access the CTA. Bringing this out to 130th, right near the historical Altgale Gardens, and making sure that those residents have the mobility to be able to move around and access everything that the city has to offer, and also that the rest of the city can go see what the far south side has to offer.
Got it. This is a huge project. Right now, the time, is this something that's being issued by our current governor, or is it being issued through the federal side? What's pushing this?
Sure, so we definitely are taking advantage of the bipartisan infrastructure law. The FTA committed almost $2 billion to the project. That's the largest grant that CTA has ever received for a project, so we're very excited to partner with the federal government here. We also received TIF from the city to match another portion of the project, and then we have other funding sources that we're pursuing to bring that project fund.
Okay. Now, there's a lot in this project. I have a number of questions to ask you, but
Yeah.
my first question is, right now, we're talking about 6,000 people you're really going to look for to get this project done?
Yeah, we are anticipating a large workforce, right? And not just the trade labor that's going to take to build this, but all the ancillary jobs that are supporting the construction of it. We have professional services jobs. We obviously have jobs, in security and landscaping. And then once we have the project built, we're going to have jobs to run the train through the extension,
Okay.
and make sure that we service the stations as well.
Got it. Now, in addition to the staffing, there's also contractors that are going to be helping to get this work done. Any
Yes.
particular type of contract you guys are looking for?
Yes, we have a robust Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, or DBE program.
Yeah.
That program is run through the U.S. Department of Transportation, and it looks to level the playing field for small businesses that are owned by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that anyone who's interested in working on the project, they should reach out to CTA. We're here to support them. My department is their #1 advocate within CTA to make sure that they have access to contracting opportunities and the resources to pursue those contracting opportunities.
And you said that they contact your office.
Yes.
Some website they can get to?
Yes, transitchicago.com/diversity-programs.
Okay. And right now you guys post all the different RFPs and requests for different types of companies you're looking for?
Yes. So most of our contracts are posted on our e-procurement site, which they can get through transitchicago.com. So right now we're in the stage where we are waiting for the proposals from the teams that were shortlisted to build this project. Once we get the proposals, we'll go through our evaluation phase and select a team. After the team has been selected, my team will then go out and do the outreach and bring that team to the community so that firms that are interested in working can connect directly with them, find out their procurement process, find out how they're putting out their packages and when, so they can be ready to compete for it.
Now, how much in the minority participation side will happen?
Sure, so we've set goals on the design build contract. It's 25% on the design and 22% on the construction. So they're aggressive, but they're attainable goals.
Okay. And who's going to make sure that those numbers are hit?
Yes, that's a great question. I have a compliance team that is dedicated to making sure that we monitor each contract that has DB participation so that the firms are participating, they are performing the scope that they said they would perform, being paid on time, and treated fairly. So again, we're your #1 advocate through CTA to make sure that you get work and that you are being paid and treated fairly.
Yeah, I have some clients who are very strong females, and they said, ask them this question: how many women contractors are going to get dollars here?
Yes, again, we are looking for contractors from every background to make sure that we have a competitive pool for the team, for the design build contractor to look at and make sure that they're able to compete for these. Another thing that we work with the teams to do, the prime contractors, is to break down the packages. So it's not just one large electrical package, it's multiple electrical packages that multiple firms can compete for. Not just one large concrete package, but they break those packages down. So you may have one firm that wins 2 of those packages and then another firm that wins another one, right? So we have a variety of different firms that compete on and work on our projects.
Okay. I got hit also by an individual who said, look, are people who are ex-felons going to be able to get contracts or work? I said, I think so.
Yeah, definitely. We do not have any restriction on backgrounds for working as a contractor on our site, right, or as a in the trade labor. I would highly encourage those individuals to look at our website. So we have 2 different paths that they can look at. One is through our contracts. We set workforce goals on our contracts for dislocated workers, low-income workers, union apprentices, and residents of economically disadvantaged areas. We have workforce partners that you can connect with. They'll provide you the resources to make sure that you're ready for those trade jobs. And then when the contractors and their subs are looking for to hire individuals, they'll send candidates over for them to review.
Okay.
On the second part is we have a very strong internal second chance program with CTA. We want folks to apply. We're always hiring. Again, transitchicago.com/careers will show you every Friday. We refresh the jobs that are posted. So I encourage you to bookmark that page and take a look at it on every Friday to see what jobs are posted. Our Second Chance program also has an intake form, so you can take a look at that on the website and see if that's the right fit for you.
Got it. 'Cause I know we do a lot of work with second chance situations. We have a penal system in Illinois has thousands of individuals who are paying on average about $25,000 a year for people to be locked up. Right now, I'd rather have them out on the street with a job, paying taxes, helping to increase our community and make things better. I mean, is that part of this whole program?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why we have the programs that we have, is to make sure that individuals that have paid their debt to society have a path to then come back and start their careers. Again, whether it's in the building trades, through our contractors, or directly with CTA, we want to make sure that we're providing those opportunities.
And it's not going to be about, hey, I'm an ex-felon, I can't get hired. That's not going to be the case.
Right. Again, our contracts do not have any restrictions on backgrounds for individuals. So we're not putting any restriction there, and we're working with the contractor to make sure we're opening as many doors as possible. And again, internally at CTA, we have a very progressive hiring system that looks at backgrounds on a case-by-case basis. I encourage everyone, if you're ready to work with CTA, to apply.
Got it. I had another question that came my way. What's going to happen here with CTA and the expansion? Right now we have a potential airport that's going to be in the area on the far south zone. Is this something that's part of the plan?
So right now there is no plan to connect to any potential airport, right? The terminal will be at 130th, where it will end near Alkill Gardens. But we definitely look forward to conversations with any potential partners that are looking to work with transit. Transit, again, is the great equalizer. We have service that runs into our two airports now, into Midway and O'Hare. And it's a great service for not just residents that are traveling to and from other places, but visitors too. When they get off the plane, they want to come downtown. It's an easy ride from the Blue Line or the Orange Line to come downtown.
Got it. Now, is there any connection here between CTA and what we have with the Metra and the railroad station that we have? We have a high-speed rail that's being put in place from here to St. Louis. And right now, it seems to be something to be very attractive for a lot of people. Is CTA kind of correlating with that process?
Yeah, we're always talking with our partners right throughout the state, Metra and Pace, the RTA, right, the Northeast region here in Illinois. We have great connections with all those modes of transportation, and partnering throughout the state and making sure that we're a good partner in whatever development comes, right? I mean, I was reading an article about why we don't have high-speed rail here in this country the way that other countries do, and it really is a lack of transit within the cities. The stronger transit we have within the cities, the easier it makes high-speed rail a possibility. So we know that Chicago has a very strong transit system. CTA provides transit for the city of Chicago and 35 suburbs. So bringing high-speed rail is a natural fit with the transit system that we have.
I've gone across the country, looked at different rails from New York. We got California here. We have even southern U.S., looking at Texas and things of that nature. Right now, what makes Chicago and CTA one of the best in the country?
I would say it's our commitment to equity, our commitment to ensuring that those that need transit, that it's available. We run our system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if we've got snow, if we've got extreme heat, extreme cold. Our system is running because we know that people depend on it. So we want to make sure that we're there for folks. We don't shut down our system when inclement weather comes, because that's when folks need us the most.
Got it. Interesting side, I've talked to folks. I'm also involved with the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce, and we have the National Black Chamber. And are they going to be eligible to participate in what's happening here with the Red Line?
Yeah, great question. So again, the program that we run, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, DBE, is a federal program through the U.S. Department of Transportation. Firms that are outside of Illinois that are qualified for DBE should get certified in their home state first, wherever they're incorporated, and then they can apply here in Illinois. There's 5 agencies that certify DBEs here in Illinois: IDOT, the Illinois Department of Transportation, City of Chicago, CTA, Metra, and Pace. So once you're certified in your home state, you can then apply over in Illinois to get DBE certified, and all DBEs qualify to meet that goal.
Got it. I know we talked earlier about funding.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, again, trying to get the financing required to get involved with these projects. You guys have a program set up to do that.
We do, yeah. So in 2019, in collaboration with our current mega project, which is the Red and Purple Modernization Phase 1, we launched a pilot of our program that we now call Building Small Businesses. And that came out of conversation with the small business community telling us, look, your projects are big, they're expensive. It's hard to have the capital to be able to perform on those contracts. So we wanted to create a program that linked them with access to capital and capital sourcing, and also some technical and back office support. So we have Building Small Businesses. We have a team that is onboarded to administer that program for us. So firms will enter into an orientation session, then they'll go into a one-on-one session with that team, talk about where their firm is today, where they want to get to, and what tools are available for them for that growth.
Okay. So again, it can happen.
Yes.
No matter where you are in the country, you can get involved with this project.
Yes, definitely. We want more folks to get involved and make sure that, again, we set our goals, DBE goals that we set at the floor, and we expect our contractors to reach up for the ceiling.
So right now you guys are communicating to people on a quarterly basis also, telling about these projects.
Yeah, so we've moved to a quarterly outreach session. So every quarter we go to a different side of the city, right? North side, west side, south side. And we have events where we have our prime contractors, potential prime contractors hosting tables, bring the DBE community to them so they can have direct connection with them and start that relationship. We also have a short presentation to talk about what's coming up with CTA so that when they are having those conversations, they can say, you know, CTA mentioned this red line extension. I'd love to be a part of it, and here is how I can add value.
Okay, so that is definitely working.
Yes.
Question comes back to me with CTA. This project has taken quite a long time
Yes.
to get completed. Right now, this going to be the final step? We're going to get this thing done?
Oh, we're going to get it done. Yeah, like I said, we are in the RFP stage right now. We'll award the contract at the second half of this year. There'll be about a year's worth of design, and we'll put the shovel in the ground in late 2025, and then complete the project and deliver service in late 2029.
Got it. So, who's been the biggest barrier right now for CTA getting this project completed?
Again, I think it was funding, right? Lack of investment in infrastructure and in transit specifically. You know, we're very excited that we have the state capital program and then the bipartisan infrastructure law. Those are both helping immensely with our investments and making sure that we can extend the red line, that we can make all of our rail stations accessible that are not currently accessible, to make sure that we can put in some state of good repair work, right? We need this constant flow of investment into transit, into our infrastructure to make sure that we can deliver service for our residents.
Okay, is our current president pushing at least this idea of making the transit viable infrastructure?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, the bipartisan infrastructure law had a lot of money, billions, towards transit that CTA is applying for, those competitive grants. And again, the almost $2 billion that we received as a commitment for a red line extension is the largest that we've ever received as an agency.
Okay. Is there anything you need in terms of help from people maybe listening to this program? Do they
Yes.
need to contact their local congressman?
Yeah, you know, always contact your elected officials and let them know how essential transit is, not just to your life, but to the lives of the people around you. Even if you don't take transit, the folks that serve your food, or the folks that, you know, the doctors and nurses that help you for your health care, they're getting to their jobs via transit. The customers that, maybe you're a small business and the customers that you serve, they're getting to you via transit. So transit is, again, that great equalizer. We have a fiscal cliff coming up after the COVID relief dollars run out, and we need the state of Illinois to pass a transit bill that will help us continue to deliver this essential service to residents.
How much money are we talking?
We're talking about $550 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that can at least help to get this thing continued to go forward?
Yeah. Correct, yes.
Okay. Now, another issue that came up about the people who may be disabled that need some type of assistance. You said that's going to be another part of what's happening?
Yeah, so we put together what we call the All Stations Accessibility Plan. And it actually inspired part of the bipartisan infrastructure law. They have the All Stations Accessibility Program. And our commitment is to make sure that all of our rail stations are vertically accessible by 2040.
Okay.
We're making these improvements kind of one station at a time as we can. So I mentioned our current mega project, the Red and Purple Modernization Phase 1. We're tearing down and rebuilding 4 stations from Lawrence to Bryn Mawr. All of them will be vertically accessible. That was the longest stretch there of inaccessible stations that we had in our system. So we made sure that those will be accessible as part of that rebuild. The Red Line extension, the 4 stations that we'll add as part of the extension will all be accessible. We have the work that's happening here in the near future this year at the Racine station at the Forest Park branch of the Blue Line to make that station accessible, as well as the Austin station on the Green Line.
Got it. Now, one question I had was the issue of parking.
Yeah.
At all of these station stops, right now, parking is not normally mandatory that's going to be in the area. Is that going to be an issue?
So, as part of the Red Line extension, there will be multimodal. There'll be multimodal stations, so there'll be parking, bike, pedestrian, and bus connections. Not all of our stations are going to have parking, but we do have various parking lots throughout the system so that customers that are looking to drive to our stations, there are a variety of options of where they can park and jump onto the system.
Will they also have EV available parking?
That's a good that's a great question. Obviously the Red Line extension will go through a design and that'll be part of the conversation.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's kind of hard to bring the vehicle out if you can't charge.
Yes, definitely, definitely, yeah.
It's one of those things. We got a interesting city. We got a lot going on here. What's the mayor doing in this project?
The mayor has been very supportive, right? He was at the announcement where we received the almost $2 billion from the FTA and knows that this is an equity investment and is committed to making sure that we extend the Red Line out to 130th and continue to support transit. He also came out to our hiring fair at Malcolm X a few weeks ago because, again, he understands how vital CTA is to the city.
Okay, so if you had to put in words CTA and its impact on the city of Chicago,
Yeah.
are we saying that this is the behemoth that controls everything, or are we saying it's one of the parts?
Yeah, we're definitely the lifeblood of the city, right? We move everyone around and make sure that folks can get from point A to point B and everywhere in between. So we're the lifeblood of the city.
Even when it's cold.
Even when it's cold, yes.
I've had to wait for a number of times waiting for the train to come. I was like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's coming. We got lines and snow. We got ice here. We can't be there 100% of the time, but we're going to keep going.
Yep, and we continue to improve on our performance. We've got our performance metrics on our website, transitchicago.com, for the transparency to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable because we want to deliver reliable and safe service.
If you had to pick up one of the sore spots that CTA goes through, what's been the biggest complaint that you've had from customers?
Sure, I think it's been reliability, which has been improving, and we need customers to continue to engage with us, for riders to continue to ride CTA and provide us with feedback so that we know how we can do better.
Okay. Can you go online and give that feedback to folks?
Yes, there is definitely a way to go online. Again, transitchicago.com. They can find the feedback form and provide us feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys check that on a regular basis?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let's
Yes.
go ahead and put
We have
it
a
in this
whole
thing.
department that takes care of that. Yeah.
It's like, look, hey, we heard you, and we'll give you a word back that we got this, and we'll get it taken care of.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, one of those things.
Yeah.
So how many people are working with you on this project now?
So my team, my team works across all the projects at CTA. I've got a team of 23 that are dedicated in making sure that there's opportunity both for contractors and small contractors and also for individuals that are looking to get a career started on our contracts. We've got a great Chief Equity and Engagement Officer, Denise Barreto. It's an inaugural position that we hired for, and she is making sure that equity is within everything that we do, right? Is a priority in everything that we do, and making sure we're using that as a lens of how we look at all of our policies and investments.
Is she cute and is she married?
You'd have to have her on the show, and then you can.
So that's you get that data at another date.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen here with CTA? Are we going to expand CTA right now. We got red line, we got green line, we got purple line, we got blue line. Is this going to be the USA type flag of CTA?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're focused on the red line extension. And again, it's funding, making sure that we have that investment in infrastructure and transit. And the more investment that we get from both the federal and state, we'll continue to make CTA a better transit system.
Because I've noticed there's a expansion project going where there's some new locations north, on the north side off of, where was I? On Devon and Clark, somewhere around there.
So yeah, that's the red and purple modernization phase 1.
Okay.
That's where we tore down the stations between Lawrence to Bryn Mawr, tore them down. We're building up new stations there again. So they're not new stops, same stops that were there before, but brand new stations that are again going to be ADA accessible. And we've cleared the embankment underneath the tracks, so now we've created a whole new community area there. We've had some community meetings with residents to find out what they want to see under the tracks so that we can take that under advisement.
Got it. I used to ride the CTA coming into the city through the purple line.
Okay.
And going up to Evanston, that was always a great shot.
Yeah.
Come here, no problem. But the issue is also going further. I can't get to Highland Park right now with CTA.
Yeah.
You got to take Metro. It's like, hey, what's going to happen? Or is that really not in the plan?
Yeah, no, nothing that I've seen so far. But again, we are have our partners there, Metro, right, where we can connect you from jump on CTA from downtown, get you as far north as we can. Then you can transfer over to Metro to make the rest of the ride. So we're blessed to have a robust transit system here in the Northeast. But again, we need that continued investment to continue to improve and evolve that transit system.
So where is the money really coming? It's mostly federal dollars coming in?
In terms of the infrastructure investments, we've got state, right, through the state capital program, and then, from the federal government through the bipartisan infrastructure law.
Okay. But the majority of dollars are coming from?
So a lot of money's coming from the feds, right? They passed this large infrastructure, kind of once in a generation infrastructure package. So there's going to be a lot of dollars flowing from the federal government, but we definitely depend on our state and local partners to make sure that we have other funding sources as well.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at the future here. We got $1 trillion plus deficit right now, and I'm thinking the federal government cannot continue to pump all these dollars for this infrastructure rebuild.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of transit, we know that for every dollar you invest in transit, you get $4 of economic return, right? So we want to make sure that we're investing that money in areas that need it so that we can create more economic development outside of just the project, right? When we deliver the Red Line extension in 2029, that's not the end of the project. That's really the beginning.
Okay.
Because we want to see the development that's happening around the station and the neighborhoods and community areas around the station. In fact, we commissioned a transit-oriented development plan that you can find on our website, and the city of Chicago adopted that plan of how we envision the neighborhood and the community surrounding those stations to develop with retail, with commercial corridors, with residential, so that we can really create economic vibrancy around our system.
One issue that popped up for me, the blue line going out to O'Hare, I take quite a bit. The question is, I'm seeing it as being a hotel. I see a lot of people, homeless folks, kind of riding the actual CTA as their midnight hotel. What's going to happen there?
Yeah, we're actually partnering with some social service agencies to help us bring resources to those individuals and make sure that they can get the resources they need. So that CTA is not their residence, right? So that they can find either another other shelter or the resources that they need to get into those shelters.
I mean, we get thousands of immigrants coming into the city. They're also seeing that the CTA is definitely a good spot to hang out.
Yeah.
Are you guys seeing that also?
Not from what I've seen and heard, but again, we have, we're partnering with the social services agencies. We have security at our stations to make sure that passengers, customers are safe. But we want to make sure that it's an accessible system to everyone, so that folks can get to where they need to go on the system safely, right? And make sure that it's being used the way it was intended.
Yeah, because it's one of those things we're saying, this is supposed to be a public entity here. CTA is
Yeah.
supposed to be providing services throughout the city
Yeah.
and being safe and being comfortable also.
Right.
And we know that different things are going to happen. You got the older people who used to say, hey, let me get on CTA, at least it's cool.
Yeah.
And if it's 100 degrees outside,
Yeah.
we don't get on CTA. But I'm coming on CTA sometimes and like, hey, there's no air conditioning here. What's going on here?
Yeah, we're making investments too in our rail stock and our buses, right? Buying new buses, buying new rail cars to make sure that we're again providing that comfortable ride. We have a plan to have zero emission bus fleet by 2040.
Okay.
So that part of that investment, those capital dollars, those federal dollars that are coming, are going to be invested in new vehicles as well.
Because I know you guys have a number of EV buses right now.
Yes, we do have a few buses that we're running routes on the west side and the south side, and they're doing well, right? And we want to make sure that we expand that.
Now, have you guys tested yet? What happens when we have major rain and flooding going on? What's going to happen with those EVs?
Yeah, I mean we've had electric vehicles since around 2012, so we've collected some data. We've got more electric buses that we have now, so we're continuing to collect data when we have inclement weather, whether it's a lot of rain, extreme heat, extreme cold. All that has an effect on the battery and how we can plan our routes. On the Chicago Avenue route, for example, we have in-route chargers. So at Navy Pier, there's some chargers, and then at kind of midway at Austin and Chicago, there's some chargers. So we're making sure that we're collecting the data so we know how to plan these routes and the infrastructure along those routes.
Okay. I mean, it's a changing system that we have here.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand when's not the time to get on an electric bus. You have a storm that's going on. You don't want to be on the EV.
No, you can guarantee you're in for a safe ride when you get on CTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With my daughter, 14, she likes to come into the city. And we're saying, well, you can't ride things like the train and coming into the city. We can't guarantee your security. Is that real?
Yeah, honestly, for the majority of riders, it's a safe ride. I ride into work. Whenever I come into the office, I'm on CTA, and it's a safe ride. We have incidents of where there's safety issues, but those are not the common experience that you have on CTA. Most people take the system every day, get on, get off where they need to, get back on and go home with nothing happening. They put their earbuds in, listen to their music, play games on their phone, or read their paper like I do. I'm still old school. I have a newspaper and I read it every day. And we're, again, addressing those security concerns as best we can, partnering with the Chicago Police Department, our other local police departments, and the other communities that we serve, and making sure that we're providing as safe a ride as we can.
What about with bikes? I ride my bike, at least I try to ride a bike.
Yeah.
And it's a format where you can bring it on
Yes.
the CTA, but there's not a logic that I can understand right now. There's certain time periods that you can ride or certain times you can't.
Sure, yeah. We have to make sure that we've got space for everyone during rush hour, right? Those are the times that we can't have bikes on because they take up too much space. But other than rush hour, you can have your bike. Every bus has the ability to have 2 bikes on the front of the bus.
Right.
And then obviously you can take it into the rail cars, except for rush hour.
Got it. And it's
Yeah.
one of those things, just trying to understand the logic. So right now, I guess you need to go online, take a look, and it'll
Yes.
explain what's going on with this format.
Yeah,
here.
and again, we want to be that connection for different, right? We understand that folks travel different ways, right? Whether it's you're walking to the system, taking the bike, driving and parking, and then jumping on the system, or maybe taking another form of transit to get to CTA. But you'll know we're always there.
Okay. So right now, your prediction over the next 10, 20 years, given you and us both have young kids,
Yes.
what's going to be the future for CTA and with children?
I really hope to create a generation of riders that depend, that want to be on CTA, and that we advocate for more investment in the transit system so that we create a better transit system for us. We can pull a lot of cars off the road and alleviate some of this congestion if we invest in transit. We can create bus rapid transit lanes. We can create bus only lanes to make sure that the buses can get to our destinations quicker. it's a little bit of a chicken and egg, right? We've got to get more ridership, but to get more ridership, we've got to get a better system.
You as a dad, though, my question
Yeah.
would be, what is it you really want to see CTA do to make this more amenable for kids?
Sure,
And families.
Yeah, I think CTA is a great tool that families can use right now to get around the city. Thousands of families use us every day to get their kids to school, to get their kids to doctor's appointments, to get their kids to after-school activities. We just have to continue to invest in the system so that we can have more reliability. We can have more service so that kids know that when they grow up and go to college or go to post-secondary education or go to their jobs, that they can rely on CTA to make sure that they get there and get there on time.
Okay. And again, it's a huge system.
Yes.
We have a lot of competition and things of that nature, but for me, riding CTA helps to keep cars off the street.
Correct.
And right now, giving people alternative transit.
Yes.
And right now, this is at least a day where I'm seeing people are agreeing that they want to get cars off the street, the emissions out of the air,
Yep.
be able to breathe, come out, and not have to worry about that stuff.
Yes, definitely. And again, we continue to make sure that we're there 24 hours a day. CTA is running.
Okay. Where do you need more money?
Again, we need the investment in infrastructure so that we can invest in our state of good repair needs, and then we need that transit bill to pass at the State House to make sure that we fill the funding gap that's coming in 2025, 2026.
Okay. So right now, if I'm down in Springfield talking about the folks, say, hey, we need to make sure these transit bills are being passed.
Yes.
And everything's going to be done well. Now, right now, do people use you guys as models in other cities here in the state?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are a strong transit system that I think the country looks to see how they can model when they don't have transit. And not just our system, but the programs that we run, like our Second Chance program, our DBE program, right? We have great models that everyone in the country should be looking at. I mean, we're doing DBE and contract diversity like no one else is. And we want to spread those models. We're here to help. So if there's folks from around the country that want to know how we're doing it and how we implemented it, we're happy to have that conversation.
And again, the key site to go to online is
transitchicago.com.
okay.
Yes.
And you can find out all the information about the contracts,
Yes.
different ways to get involved, how to get employed, and things of that nature. And you can basically do it at your fingertips.
Exactly. Yep. And it's mobile ready, so you can do it on your phone as well.
And they can't call you though, but you can go online.
Yes.
They got a team here. They pretty much take care of the stuff. And you guys
Yes.
are doing different sessions quarterly where you guys will be able to have information sessions where people can learn how to get involved in what CTA is trying to achieve.
Yes, and they're always no cost to attend, open to the public. So please come on by so we can talk and see what the right route is for you.
Okay. Now, going to be cookies at these events?
Sure, we'll have cookies in the future.
Last thing, we've had a number of items we've talked about here, and people are going to watch this and say, hey, CTA trying to do some more things, spending up taxpayer money to try to expand. They got billions of dollars that they're pushing here for expansion. We're trying to really create more reliable transit, more convenient transit.
Right.
And it's a scenario where the dollars are being allocated from state and federal levels. So don't feel that CTA is trying to take money from you. That's not what's happening. We're not doing a special tax assessment for people to have to pay more money. We're just saying, hey, we're trying to get these projects complete.
Yes.
And we're taking in the funding from the federal and state levels.
Yes, and we're doing it through a way in which we're also creating jobs, right? Directly with CTA, but also through our contractors. We're making sure to support small businesses. So when the federal government, when the state government, when the city of Chicago are investing in CTA, they're also investing in small business development. They're also investing in helping individuals find and establish their career in the building trades.
My limited buddy, Governor Pritzker, are they forcing the format for expansion here in Chicago?
Are they format?
is Pritzker supporting what's happening with the expansion?
Oh yes, yes. Like I said, the state capital program has been very instrumental. That's how we funded the first phase of our Forest Park rebuild program, which part of it was tearing up the tracks from before the tunnel there at UIC all the way to the Illinois Medical District. We ripped out all the old tracks and put in new tracks to eliminate the slow zones there. And now we're moving on to the Racine Station. That was funded through the state capital program.
Okay.
So we're very, very supportive and very thankful for the state partnership there.
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times, and it's a matter of saying, hey, what's going to happen here in Chicago? We're talking the largest economic engine in the state of Illinois.
Yes.
Is Chicago. And right now, it's being done by having transit available, people being able to get to work and get employed and do different things.
Definitely.
And he
Yes.
supports that, but I'm just trying to make sure that the right buttons are being pushed.
Yes. Yes.
And that's
Thank you.
the question that always comes up. But for you, I have another question.
Sure.
Right now, having 2 kids,
Yeah.
little
3.
kids, right?
Yeah,
You
2
have-
little ones.
Yeah, you have one, and then you
Yeah.
have one 8th grade about to go to
Yeah.
high school.
Yes.
Is it an issue with high school kids using CTA these days?
No, I mean, thousands of CPS kids use CTA to get to and from school. My son takes the bus to and from his grade school, and honestly, they love it. Right?
Yeah.
It's reliable. It gets them to and from, and they feel more independent doing it. I grew up on CTA and was born and raised here in the city, so I grew up on CTA as well. And it's just always been, that system that's there that I know that I can rely on to get where I need to go.
Yeah, it brings me back to old days, going to high school.
Yeah.
Got to get on the CTA
Yes.
to go up to Lim Bloom Technical High, get down the street. But it's always an interest to say, look, how can we find a way to get on the bus and not have to pay? Well, that's not available right now.
No.
It's a system that's totally changed, but it's a system that works.
Yes,
And you need to get someplace, and you have an opportunity to get it done.
definitely.
So that's what
Yeah.
we try to do and make it happen.
Yes.
But I'm excited about what's going on with CTA. I'm just trying to find more avenues that can help to say, how can we make this better and get things done the right way?
Yeah, we love to hear from the community, from our stakeholders. So again, please reach out to us, whether it's with my department supporting small businesses or careers on our contracts, whether it's applying for CTA or submitting some feedback. The more that the community communicates with us, the better we can be.
Okay? Key points. We've talked about a lot. Top 3 points you want people to remember?
Top 3 points from my perspective is CTA is doing DBE and supplier diversity and diversity in our contracts like no one else. You've got a champion department in CTA that's your #1 advocate, and communication is key. We want to hear from you, both from my unit, from my department, but CTA as a whole. We want to hear from the community so that we can be stronger and better together.
Okay. So, question. Talking to Lester, the chairman of
Yes.
CTA, what should we tell him that you've been doing well?
The chairman and I, we see each other once a month at the board meetings. He is very supportive of the equity work that we're doing, and we appreciate his support and his advocacy from him and the other board members as well, to make sure that equity is a top priority of CTA. President Carter and all the staff join us in making sure that we're looking through an equity and diversity lens with all the investments and policies that we put forward.
Okay. Because there's, again, a lot going on that you're currently helping CTA to get complete.
Yes.
And right now, we want to support you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I got thousands of different contractors that want to contact you and say, hey, look, where do we get this done? Who do
Great.
we talk to? We've already told them you can get online, find out what the contracts are, the RFPs, and on a quarterly basis, you have a chance to get informed about any changes that may take place.
Yeah, and get in front of decision makers with the prime contractors and potential prime contractors. Again, we want to make sure that we establish those relationships early. Don't wait until the opportunity that you want to pursue is advertised. Sometimes those teams are already formed. You want to start building those relationships with the primes as early as possible. So come on out to our events, find me. and we'll make sure to get those relationships started for you.
Who are some of the primes you guys have, the big primes?
Sure. So I can tell you the three teams that are competing for the Red Line extension. One is a joint venture between FH Passion, Ragnar Benson, Boa Construction, and Millhouse Engineering. Another one is Kiewit Infrastructure, and then you have a joint venture between Walsh, Vinci, the transit partners.
Okay.
So those are three teams that are competing for the Red Line extension. We've also got firms like John Burns, Granite, ICC, Aldridge. These are also firms that compete for our work.
Got it. I know all the firms that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And there are some nice firms, do a lot of work, and again, we need to get them to hire more women, though.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we've got goals on our contracts, and again, those goals are the floor, and we expect the contractors to reach up for the ceiling. And it's not, CTA doesn't look at it as we're going to put these goals, and then contractor, it's up to you to meet them. We're there in partnership with them to make sure that everyone's successful.
What's been the biggest problem for getting women contractors?
We've had a strong participation from women on our contracts for quite some time. We have really good relationships with the Women's Business Development Center, with Federation of Women Contractors, to make sure that women-owned contractors know how to get a hold of us and know the different programs that we have.
I mean, but what's the typical firm that you guys are usually contracting with? Is it general construction or electrical engineering, or?
Most of the spend that we focus on is in construction, because we have a very aggressive and robust infrastructure program. So that's where we spend a lot of our money outside of vehicle purchases, right? Train and bus.
Right.
It is in infrastructure and construction, but that includes engineering, construction management, program management firms as well.
Okay. Because again, we've got a huge universe out here that we're trying to get in line and explain to them what's going on and what we're trying to create. But right now, it's a big universe out here, a lot of competition, and it's not going to be an easy job.
Yeah, no, it's not an easy job, but we're definitely here to make sure that again, we've got the advocacy, the programs to support, and then the goals that we are monitoring. The diversity program staff is passionate, they're dedicated, and they're here to serve.
Got it.
Yeah.
So right now we have a huge environment. We have CTA that rides rails all around the city. We got a huge amount of minority participation that we're trying to encounter and at least engage to make sure that they're available to get stuff done. And we also want to set them up and say, hey, it can be done. We'll give you the communication. This is how you get in the door. This is how you can make it happen. And then you have other organizations that are looking here to support what you're trying to do.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I can only say that right now we've gotten a lot of material that we've touched base on. And right now, we didn't give out your number, so they're not going to be calling you. You get a call tomorrow morning at the house. Like, hey, where's the money? No, that's not the way this works. We're here to just run a normal process and trying to be one of the best transit systems in the country.
Yes.
And I think we're trying to hit that job.
Yes, and we appreciate you inviting me out here to speak on this and make sure that the audience knows how to get a hold of us, that we exist within CTA, so that they know they have an advocate there.
Okay. So when do we see you again?
You let me know, I'll be here.
Oh, so that's a
Yes.
form of this. Let you know. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Can we do a call in? Like people want to get contracts. Like, hey, let's get done.
Sure. Yeah, we're happy to set up some time in the future to come back and give you an update on where we are.
Okay. Well, that's part of the whole story. Just trying to
Yes.
make sure that people are aware and they understand what's happening.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Of
And
course.
See the baby cross the way with the face of an angel, looking for